Can I just say I love you as a heel, and I tried to get you to be a heel for a very long time, but man, I love it. I love it. I love
Can
it.
I just say I had some really good people to learn from, and you are in a very short list of names that falls into. I steal. This is all I'll do to spoil that. Flat out steal a lot from you.
So we have a unique opportunity with this next set of footage because it really was taken from Steph's Places. Had the opportunity to interview John Cena for nearly 4 hours. Some say 3, some say 3.5, some said 4.
It was a long time.
It was a very long time, very long time.
Very long.
But it was such great content that we didn't want, for Steph's Places, which is an amazing opportunity. The shows themselves are only 23 minutes, which is, a part of the magic that they're that short and snackable, and that's part of how they're supposed to be. But then there's all this great content that, doesn't have the opportunity to be seen in the television show. So we thought maybe it would be a good idea to roll it out here on the podcast. So the things you won't see in Stephanie's Places, you're going to see here. And, please let us know what you think, because this is obviously the first time we're trying this. So roll the footage. Eat smart at factormeals.com/Steph50off and use code Steph50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Steph50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Elise, I'm so happy that these guys are sponsors and that, they really do provide such nutritious food for people who are on the go, or even, young moms who have young kids and you're trying to figure out your husband works late. I happen to know that maybe for the adults, you utilize meal delivery.
Yeah, and instead of making a different meal for everyone in my house, he and I are taken care of pretty quick with these meals, and then the kids can have their Dino Nuggets.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Have you worked with this crew?
We did some work when I was in elementary school together. We've come up together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, these are all Florida guys. Little Timmy over there, Big Jake, and Lazy Mitch. He's on camera A. It's one of those reverse nicknames. He's a hard worker. No, I've never worked with him.
I'm like, I know you didn't grow up in Florida.
I did not.
We're rolling, right? Okay, great. So can you tell me, John, first of all, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, it's about time.
It's really an honor to be able to sit down with you
Stop
and
it. You say
talk
this to
to
all
you.
your guests. So
But it's
I
true.
don't feel as if it's an honor.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, you've watered it down.
No, but it is an honor.
It's
And
good
the
to see you.
fact
It's
that
good to
you
talk to you.
even are able to do this with your schedule is...
You are airing all the small talk we've had before we
but
roll.
because I'm
And
trying
we're
to
all
make it
busy.
interesting.
We're all busy, though.
It's true. Everyone's busy.
You are.
So you made the time, and I appreciate it.
We both made the time.
Okay.
That's what friends do. If it's important, you make it important, right?
That's true.
So thank
That's
you.
true.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about, because you picked this location.
Yeah.
So tell me about where we are and why it means so much to you.
So we are in the halls of Hard Knocks South, which is the place that I hope to do most of my training, but as of late, it's very foreign to me.
When's the last time you trained here?
6 months ago? No, yes, 6 months ago. And then before that, 9 months ago. So for the past year and a half, I've been on location. And then before that, it's different than WWE. WWE, you get 4 days on and 2 days off, or sometimes 1 day on and 5 days off. For the movies, it's hey, can you go live in Budapest for 6 months? Or can you go live in Melbourne for 9 months?
And there's no coming home.
You can
'Cause
try,
you're so far.
but
Yeah.
you're so far, you're kind of out there. So it's I've had to adjust to a different road life, where this used to always be the place where I would come home to train when I was full-time WWE. That's probably we opened the doors here in 2008 to about 2017. And then it started to get a little bit more off campus. But I always loved being here. This is a place that lightens my backpack, which is crazy because there's weight everywhere. But if I am wearing stress in my life, I walk in the door with it and I leave with less of it. So I was hoping that would be the scenario today.
And what is it about this place that allows you to leave your stress here?
So I think among other things, it's comfortable. It is me, and it is a kind of a combination of me and the folks that train here. But most importantly, you have to be present because it is not an area of the world where you can like walk through the paces. And if you do, you're going to get crushed or injured. So because this 3,000 square feet asks of everyone who walks through the door to give only the best they have, and that's it. You have to be present. And when you're present, you're like in the moment, like we are now. You're an extremely good listener. You have great questions, but you develop your method of questions, one, through your research, but you're also listening to me right now to plan your next question because you're present. And if you have good experiences or near misses in here, this is also a place that really focuses on failure because you can never lift all the weight. You're eventually going to fail. So I think the combination of being present and the humility of what all this stands for is a great way to let you know that, like, hey, whatever you were worrying about when you walk through there, it's not that big a deal. Mm-hmm. And like it forces you to take a reprieve. Like, we don't allow people to just be in the corner on their phone. If they are, they get out and they handle that stuff outside. When they come in, they come to work. So like, you are here to get treated, to get healthy, and get better. And it's been a blessing for me for the years that we've been open.
Would you say it's like a church?
So that's a great question because that dives into the whole concept of faith. I don't know. I think that's
And I didn't mean to ask such a deep question.
no. Hey,
I'm not getting
you
into
you
your.
don't have to pull any punches. No. That's cool. That's cool. I love questions like this. So, as it's been called that before in passing with slang, like, oh, this is my church. I think it's better classified as a place to meditate because I don't know what cornerstone of faith I would place in here, but it is a place where I can get my mind centered. And it certainly has its own value system, its own virtue. We have a code of conduct. So I think it runs a lot of parallels, but I don't want to get it confused with a word like faith. I think this is a nice place to come for someone to get centered.
I think meditation is a great way to put it because meditation is all about, supposedly, it's all about blocking out the noise.
Yeah.
Blocking out your mind, being able to just focus on the task at hand, right? And if you're going to be crushed by a lot of weight, if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, there's no room to let your mind wander.
We were just talking off camera. You guys missed an awesome conversation.
Yeah, it was
Never make
really
air
good.
because
It was really
we already had it. But you said you were doing jujitsu. Mm-hmm. And I can only assume that is a discipline where if you are not present, you are pretzeled.
Oh, yeah. Jiu-jitsu is awesome. And
talk more about that. What do you mean?
Well, and I haven't really talked much about it. I'm a blue belt. I'm a beginner. I did get my first stripe, though. I have a great picture of it on my blue belt. And there is something I just love about the discipline of it, how hard it is. It's really challenging. We were talking before about, how your body feels after you've put it through the paces. And I am always beat up after jujitsu. I feel so great right after, and that night I stiffen up. I'm all sore. I can't figure out what's going on, but it's the best feeling. And when you are in the moment, because it's problem solving real time, and you don't know what your opponent, or teacher or what have you is going to do, right? What moves they're going to do that you then have to counter to try to capitalize on, and they're thinking the same way. So it's like a human chess game, while you're in the midst of this very physically demanding, sport and discipline. So I've just found that and also jujitsu healed me
How?
a fair amount. I think similar to what I would ask you about this place and the things you leave outside the door. You know, it has helped me get to remind myself of who I am and what
Who is
I'm
that?
capable
That's
of.
huge. Who's that?
I'm Steph McMahon.
I get it, but what
and
does
and
that mean?
I lost myself for a little bit. I
No
lost
kidding.
my confidence, and I found it again in jujitsu.
Dang. Okay. Shit, I don't want to table that. 'Cause
Yeah, I know,
that's-
but this is about you, not
This is about
me.
us. Yo, this is about us.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Why do you think you lost yourself?
Oh, many reasons.
Give me two.
I think so. One of the reasons why I love this show is because I think everybody in life, no matter who you are, you go through hard things,
Yeah.
right? And they're different hard things for everybody, right? But I think the longer you live, the more you go through, the more you overcome. And I think the lessons you learn in the overcoming are what build your character. They are what make you who you are. And I had some very hard life lessons, mainly as it relates to my family and what WWE is and what it means to me and how much a part of it I really am. I talked a little bit on McAfee. I had tried to even pull myself away, for a little bit. And I never really could. I'd always be watching. I couldn't not watch. But it was so wrapped up in my identity, and who am I, right? Like, am I this person who was reared in this business? And I am. And I needed to accept that part of me, and know that it's all good. There's nothing wrong with it. And it has given me this incredible life to know all of these amazing people like you throughout my whole entire life since I'm a little kid. I mean, I was friends with Andre the Giant. My Uncle Ernie was the Grand Wizard. And I got to see sides of our talent that most people never got to see because I was a kid, because I was a girl. I don't know why. But Harley Race, and Paul just told the story at the Hall of Fame. He said he told the story in a little bit of a different way, but Harley was known as being one of the biggest badasses of all time,
Yep.
right? Just like hard. You never saw a soft side of Harley. And when Aurora, my first daughter, was born, he went to the jewelry store and picked out a pair of these little tiny ruby earrings himself because he wanted to give them to us. And his wife told us this story. He never did. But that's like a side of Harley Race that nobody would have ever even believed, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And that's the side I got to see of so many people. And it's just an incredible life that I'm so grateful for. And I'm grateful for it every day. And I'm grateful to know you too.
How did jujitsu help change your perspective? Because it seems, from what I'm hearing, is you went through a time where you felt a certain way, maybe ungrateful, and now we're at a point where
I was never not grateful.
okay.
I was trying to figure
Confused.
out. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, and these are questions that I was not prepared to answer today because
Yo,
I'm
this
supposed
is
to be the
you and
one
me.
asking
This is you and me
questions. So
talking.
I know, but
Wait, all these motherfuckers need is 23 minutes.
that's true.
I don't
That's
ever
true.
get to talk to you, so
Okay.
I'm going into business for myself. There you go. We'll give you your 23 minutes. I promise it'll be a great show.
But so I don't think I lost who I was. I think it reinforced who I am. And it reminded me of my strength.
Okay.
And it was something that I did completely on my own and with no one else's help.
Cool.
Nobody got me to that point. I mean, other than my coach. But I mean, it's something I did, and I did it for me. And it's an ever-going challenge.
Never finish.
You never finish.
Can never lift all the weight.
You can never lift all the weight. And lots of lessons in humility in jiu-jitsu. Lots.
Yeah.
You know?
You get pretzeled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and choked out. And
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You have to give up.
Yeah.
A lot.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
That's a sentiment shared with every person who I've come in contact with has ever done it.
Who
Everybody-
loves it? Because I think people either love it or they don't.
Yeah, I guess I think there is something humbling about trying your hardest, knowing you're outgunned, getting submitted or succumbing, and then being like, let's go again. Mm-hmm. And all right, that's enough for today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
And you're right. I think when it's kind of just like anything,
Right.
when people find the thing that brings them back, I think I've never participated in jiu-jitsu, but a common thread I know a lot of people who have, and that common thread is, man, I feel great afterwards. It kicks my ass immediately. And then a few hours later, I can't wait to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
And there must be something about it, which is, that's special.
It really is. But I think there's a lot of parallels to training because I've also trained my whole life.
Yeah.
And I never stopped training
Yeah.
because of what it really gives you. And it has been, and I've used the analogy that it's my church without a real religious overtone, but it's where you build yourself up, literally. You make yourself stronger physically and mentally. And a lot of people don't understand how hard the mental game is with training. Like you can push your body way past where you think it can go.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to think it can go.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you use Hard Knocks or any Hard Knocks South? Sorry.
So the story behind that
Yes.
is,
But wait, I want you to answer my question first.
sure.
How do you use, since you're doing this to me, I'm going to do it to you.
Go for it.
How do you use the
Two
gym
friends talking.
to help get yourself to the next place? And have you ever walked in here with a moment of doubt?
So there's two questions there.
Yep.
How do I use this to get to the next place? I don't necessarily look like the next place.
In your life?
Not really. You know,
No?
I kind of take inventory of things that I enjoy. Am I doing them? If not, am I putting up with something or going through something uncomfortable as a vehicle to do the things I enjoy, or I'm bettering myself? Am I going through discomfort to grow?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this place allows me to embrace discomfort to grow. And that's not just putting as much weight as I can on a bar. That could be something of like, I had a good conversation with a good friend of mine after training in this place for a long time and looking at that board up there with my name and my best lifts and knowing that I'm consistently regressing from that. That is a chapter in my life when I was very physically strong, but certainly not as wise and certainly not as mature. So it was really tough for me. I don't want to say I lost myself in a comparative way, but like I would come in here and think that I wasn't good enough. So to answer your question about doubt, I would think that I wasn't worthy of this place because that is where I belong and this is where I'm at. I'm older, so the growth through the uncomfortable, hey, that's a chapter in your life. What do you want from this place? Does it still make you happy? What I want is to be able to open that door when I'm 80, when I'm 90, do a below parallel squat and pick a deadlift up off the floor and still be in good physical condition for whatever age and circumstance that I find myself in. That comes with having to check that at the door. And
But how did you get there?
by continuously coming here and being disappointed, and then asking myself the question of, this place usually makes me feel good. Why do I feel bad? And it was because I'm surrounded by pictures, by numbers. There are videos that play on the big screen of like, man, that's a 600-pound squat, or that's a clean and jerk with 330 pounds, or that's a 300-pound snatch. I can't even do those lifts anymore because my body's so beat up. But then I was using Olympic lifting as a tool for explosive strength to perform in the WWE. I fell in love with the lifts, but they were a vehicle to not only keep me present, train for strength, train for explosivity, but they helped me with my then why of like 210 shows a year. And this is how I'm going to lift up 2 people at a time. This is the tools to do that. Now, the goal of this place is just to be able to be here. Be here, move around healthy, be grateful for your 10 and 10, and get the best you can for that day.
So a different type of discomfort.
The humility of, hey, you are on the regress as far as it relates to all
amount
time
of weight.
physical peak all time. You are on the regress, but that doesn't mean you can't show up and do your best for the day. So as soon as I got through that jagged pill of like, oh man, I am never going to overhead press 374 pounds ever again. But let's work to see what the best I can for today is. You know, it's a very similar course to WWE. My skills are on the regress because I take less risks. I have more than myself to think about. There are goals that I want to have that don't land on the canvas. I want to be able to move around. So I have to kind of hedge on the risks that I take, which means I'm hedged on the moves I can do, and I'm also a little bit more worn. But that comes with the humility of like, oh man, okay, I've seen other people get late in their career and try crazy stuff. The math isn't in your favor. The business has been great to me, just like the gym has been great to me. What can I accomplish here now with the talent, strengths, and gifts that I have? How can I keep myself happy? Because, man, I love the environment, both here and there. So how can I keep that joy and not be grizzled and jaded? How can I come in here and keep that joy and not be a grizzled and jaded old weightlifter? And I think it's just kind of meeting myself where I'm at.
Do you approach?
Did that answer all
It
that?
does, and I have a couple other follow-up
Look at
questions.
you.
But
Look at
going
you.
on the joy piece, you said a couple of times that like when you come in here, you think about what's going to bring me joy,
Yeah.
right? As a part of, do you apply that to every situation when you're in Budapest, when you're, in Australia and you're so far away from home? Do you have that same mental, like, what's your mental checklist? Is this bringing me joy? Is this bringing me growth? Is this, like, what are the things that you strive for?
So to feel fulfilled in life, that's it. I use the term earn every sunset. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I did these 85 things today and I was super productive, so I earned the sunset. No, it could just be like, man, I need to rest all day. And there's certain data points that I track: body weight, water intake, calories, caffeine, and sleep. And those 5 metrics, if I'm not feeling well, could be like, I'm underhydrated. Dude, you've been going off 3 hours of sleep the past 3 days. Of course you're grumpy. You are starving yourself, or you're eating way too much. I'm taking too much caffeine. My body weight's crazy. Why? Am I inflamed because of a lot of air travel? Did I fall down a bunch and my body blew up? Or am I just eating like shit and not moving around enough? Then, if I can't find an answer within the metrics, I just ask myself, well, how am I feeling? Am I in a funk that I can't get out of? Why? What's really eating at you? And I think a lot of just, it's like you said, everybody's got a story, and life is hard for everyone. It doesn't matter the opportunities people have been awarded. It doesn't even matter how they got them. We all have a struggle that only I know about, only you know about. These guys, everybody's going through hard times. We all have to get through. For me, it's just to end every day fulfilled and know that every day doesn't have to be a win. But when, like, growth through failure, when the day is not a win, don't waste it. Make sure you ask yourself why.
That's such an interesting thought, because I was going to go back to the growth through pain kind of concept and where you have experienced that, where you feel comfortable sharing.
Sure. It's 2 friends talking, whatever you want to.
Yeah, but other than the very big feeling of, wow, I'm not the person I was at this time and who am I now?
Yeah.
And what are some of the other moments in your life? And more importantly, how did you get past them where it was growth through discomfort? What are some other examples of that?
This was just after the year 2000. So the world isn't as connected. The base of health and fitness was certainly in Southern California. And regardless of where equipment was manufactured, kind of all roads led through Los Angeles, primarily through Venice. And man, I went out there when other kids took spring break to Cancun. I went to Venice to do like a scouting report. And as soon as I landed, I was like, man, this place is great. They have restaurants that serve like healthy food and everybody's into health and fitness. I'd never been in such a place in the world where that lifestyle was so widely accepted. I'd always kind of felt like an outcast. So I was like, yo, I need to get back there. And moved with very little money and very little means, but like stayed with a friend and then slept in my car and then moved into a garage in Venice, which was fun. And then like shared a room with my brother
No
Matt.
AC in the garage, though.
No, of course not. Who cares? Again, who cares? I literally could walk to the gym every day. Like I walked home from work every day. I went from sleeping in the parking lot to actually walking home from work. Then I split a room with my brother Matt where I gave him the bed and I slept on the couch. And then you guys were lucky enough to take a chance on me. So then I moved to Inglewood right by the Intuit Dome, which was awesome because I got to start the farewell tour being like, yo, I started
Right.
2 blocks. And I geo-sighted the Intuit Dome. It was like literally 3 blocks is where
Wow.
I used to live. And I just want to make sure that people know, like, I'm very proud that I did that. But my dad invited me to come back home. I had a roof over my head. I would have been taken care of. I did it by choice. There's a lot of folks out there, again, we all go through struggles, that don't have that luxury and don't have that choice. And those were some of the greatest times when I look back on memories because it was so simple.
But it's still a huge risk.
Yeah.
Yes, you had support, you had a place you can go, you had things that other people don't necessarily have at that time.
Yeah.
Right? It was an opportunity that you seized. But how did you take the risk and to put it all on the line? Like, were you completely supported going out there? Were your parents like, yes, this is a great idea, go live out of your car?
No. But they weren't, I think my dad might have been against it. He had like the famous quote that I always say is like, oh, you'll never last 2 weeks. I don't know if it was like truth or genius. If it was his way to be like, I know you don't like me so much right now. And if I say this to you, you'll never be back. And that'll be great. Or he was serious.
Or as a way to motivate you?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't.
But that's what he would say, you won't last 2 weeks.
No, that's what he did say.
Over and over? Was that a common?
That was kind of like, I'm really going to do this. I'm graduating in May, like May 25th. I got a flight booked on the 27th. So he's like, that's in a few days. You're not going to last 2 weeks. And then I was like, all right, later.
Where'd you get the car if you flew out there?
I got it out there. They sell cars in Southern
Okay,
California. I don't know if you know
I'm
this.
assuming you had like a
Yeah,
car that
yeah.
you drove across.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I landed with Joy. That's it. Two duffel bags full of clothes and $500.
I hate to say it, but all of our digital privacy is under threat. But don't worry. There's a solution that's making headlines for all the right reasons. Surfshark VPN, today's sponsor. If you're tired of feeling like you're being followed around the web, Surfshark VPN's got you. It masks your real IP address, and by doing this, it hides your online activity, encrypts your data, and blocks creepy trackers. I felt so much safer online once I started using this VPN. It also busts through censorship and geo restrictions. You want access to local reporting overseas or foreign analysis you can't get in your region? Surfshark opens that door. Surfshark's no logs policy means your data isn't stored ever. What you do online stays yours and only yours. And if you're serious about digital security, check out Surfshark Alert. It notifies you if your personal data has been leaked online because knowing is protecting. Secure your privacy with Surfshark. Use the code STEPH for 4 extra months of Surfshark. You'll find it in the show notes. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. No risk, just secure browsing. One of the things I hope to accomplish with this show is to encourage people, right, to take calculated risks.
Why is that so important to you?
Because I love people, and I've had a lot of conversations, especially with a lot of young people, and people my age and people older, but who are looking for something. And I think if you can help, just any little bit, that's what life's about. I believe in helping people as much as you can, if you can, even if that's just listening to them, even if that's just smiling at somebody that you don't know. My favorite thing in the world is smiling at a little kid walking by and they smile back. That's like the greatest feeling.
Simple things, right?
I mean, simple things are what it's all about. And I think that's what you learn. If you learn, the longer you live. It's not about the material stuff. It's about the stuff that matters most. And, I almost lost Paul, my husband. And what's weird, and I haven't talked about it, is I always had a feeling that I was going to lose him early. I just had that feeling. And after we got through everything, that feeling went away.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's like a pattern that was supposed to happen changed. And it was, such a gift, truly. And then I started going through all of this stuff in the company, and I realized there is nothing more important to me than my family, than my husband and my kids. And that's what matters most. And I want to give as much time as I possibly can. I've given everything I possibly have to the business, and my whole life. And I wanted to give back to them. And that's when I took that first leave of absence, which didn't last very long. But I knew what mattered, and I know what matters now. And I believe that love is what life is all about. And if you can help somebody in any way, I think that is what it's all about. It's about giving back. And I've had a lot of blessings in my life. And I consider myself very, 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 very blessed. And I'm so grateful. And any amount that I can give back, that's what I want to do if I can. I'm certainly not perfect. I'm sure I've hurt people's feelings along the way. I'm sure I've said something to somebody, but that's what I love about, that's what I love about doing this. And so when you think about very successful people, however you define success, what have they gone through and how did they overcome it? Because those life lessons are helpful for people. They're entertaining, hopefully, in terms of the stories that you're telling, but they're real life lessons. Taking calculated risks, never giving up, hustle, loyalty, respect, all of these things that I believe are intrinsic to you as a person that you then put through your character. And you can correct me, where I'm wrong, but those core values and those life lessons, growth through discomfort. That's a really important lesson that people don't necessarily know because of whatever reason. Life paints a rosy picture, social media is all about whatever, but that you grow through the hard times.
Yeah.
And that you have to challenge yourself, to rise to the occasion and meet the moment. I'm a little bit different. I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, you've got to earn your day.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm not earning my sunset, but it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
There's a day in front of you. How are you going to, when the sun goes down, how are you going to feel fulfilled with what happened today?
Yep.
And that doesn't happen every day. And the days that it doesn't happen, I'm just saying I don't waste that day. I'm like, I don't feel right. Why? And then that can be a level of discomfort because that's a That's sometimes a hard question to ask because you have to be critical of yourself. But it can help. It can help get you on the right track.
Is it ever okay to be lazy and
Sure
Netflix and
is.
chill and eat
Sure
a
is.
lot of pizza and ice cream?
Sure is. Because if I think it's okay to kind of explore most anything you'd want as long as you are accountable for that expedition.
Can you explain?
How are you going to realize what you do and don't love in life? You said my family, my husband, my kids, and my family, that's my life. I think a lot of things led to you to get to that destination. That's just my perspective. I think one of the things was the thing that you shared about almost having lost a piece of that puzzle. And that made you realize, like, oh, more of my energy needs to go here. I was running on this treadmill at full speed and doing excellent. But when I took a strong look at myself, it wasn't really making me happy. As a matter of fact, I'm a little confused. These are the things that make me happy. Now you're faced with a choice. I'm going to have to, or I want to, give more time to the things that make me happy. I have to be accountable for giving less time to the thing that I may or may not be identified as. And that's okay. Like, we don't view this necessarily the same. I don't talk about, or I don't talk in context of like, I've been through all this stuff. I've gotten to go through all this stuff.
It's a privilege.
All of it. And I think the biggest missed step I would have is if there was an instance that happened where I couldn't take accountability and I didn't learn anything. If you sat with me, we were just talking with Nikki off camera about how I dressed, looked, and acted in 2006. If you had sat with John Cena then, I would be in.
I did.
Which you did, by the way. Not only did you sit with, you pretty much created. I would be in Reebok pumps, polo cargo shorts, probably a Michelin Ness basketball tank top, a brand new fitted hat, $250,000 worth of diamonds, and we would be talking about stuff different. But at that time, I was also trying to debut an album, living a life that I never thought was possible, and like those things were my why. If you ask me what I was born to do, my response in 2006 would be, I am a WWE superstar. It is what I was born for. That's at 48, that's not why I was born. And it's okay. No, it's not. Like the forever question of why are we all here? That's some real deep stuff.
Yeah.
We're so insignificant. Like, honestly, none of it matters. We're logging all this stuff. There's people giving their time and effort. None of it matters. It's finding beauty in that and then being okay with it and making those things significant. Making a conversation between two friends a meaningful experience. I was so looking forward to today. Like, you have been in my life and involved in my life in places where I needed you. You've told me exactly what I needed to hear. You're responsible for a lot of like those checks and balances of if I ever thought I might be getting a little too big for my britches, man, you gave me a nice right cross to the face without you ever knowing it. But in the same vein of you wanting to spread happiness and joy, what I really needed somebody to be like, awesome. And I'm happy for you. When I was able to have a shed of vulnerability and share things with you specifically. And we've known each other for a lot of times. We haven't had many like hangs.
We haven't.
It's brief. It's like little
Moments.
flashes, but man, we're talking about a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't need to be quantity of time as long as it's quality. You have been a mentor in my life with all the things that you've shared and allowed me to learn from. Every single thing you've said, I've never not learned from. And some of those have been comments of reinforcement, and some have been criticism. And I've learned from all of them. But I don't want to parade my struggle because I don't view it as a struggle. I view it as a blessing. And if your show is meant to encourage people, man, what I've learned is you can you can say to somebody that life is a gift until you're blue in the face. I've learned that if you surround yourself with folks who want to be awesome and look at life half full and have joy and fulfillment in their life, but are also curious and they want to never stop learning and growing and are able to lean into discomfort and address the little fires before they come infernos, that is at least a conducive petri dish for you to be a better you than you were yesterday. Because you also don't do it in a day. You move a millimeter forward in a day, and you may move 10 yards back the next day and have to move a millimeter and a millimeter and a millimeter. It is a slog. It's coming in and doing an exercise like a parallel squat or a deadlift for 35 fucking years. I started lifting when I was 12. Like, I've never stopped, period. No off season, no time off. But I love it. I love the repetitive.
How did you find it?
I was getting bullied. And I was like, man, I don't want to.
With all your brothers, you were getting bullied?
Yeah, well, fighting with your brothers is a lot different than like social interaction.
Okay.
If a lot of folks I've talked to with extended families, the sentiment of, and this isn't a blanket statement, but just my experience, I can make fun of my brother.
Right.
But if you ever fucking say anything about him, holy shit, it's on. So there is a difference between conflict with kin and what society thinks of you. And as a young mind, I was getting really put through the ringer for how I looked and how I acted. I didn't look like everybody else. I didn't act like everybody else.
Are you ready to hold WWE history in the palm of your hand? Topps is bringing you closer to the action than ever before with WWE Topps Now, highlighting the biggest matches and milestones from WWE shows and PLEs throughout the year. Topps Now is enhancing the fan experience by connecting collectors to the superstars and spectacles that ignite their passion. Featuring stunning event-exclusive photography, each card is made for the moment. And for some lucky collectors, that moment could become the pull of a lifetime. Along with serial numbered parallels, some Topps Now releases offer a chance at rare short prints, superstar autographs, and even pieces of the mat, gear, or other items used during the featured match. So which moments will you collect? With each card only available for a limited time, you won't want to wait to begin your Topps Now journey. Be sure to subscribe to the WWE Topps Now mailing list on Topps.com and follow Topps on all social media platforms so you never miss a single moment. How did you look different?
Well, children of the same generation. I grew up in a small town in northeastern Massachusetts that was pretty much 99.9% white. They listened to like hair band metal, rock and roll. It was a farm town, so like jeans and flannels. They drove trucks. I don't fault anybody for living that way, but like this was also the crest of rap music, which eventually became hip hop. And as a young person who necessarily was rebellious towards their parents, and I idolized my cousin who was 2 years older than me, and he lived in a little bit more of a metropolitan area, so he would hang out with city kids, and there was more of a rap influence. And then on weekends, I would hear rap music for the first time, and hear curse words, and like...
Who's the first artist you fell in love with?
I remember specifically all the stuff that I wasn't supposed to listen to. Like 2 Live Crew from Miami, NWA from the West Coast, even like Slick Rick, Eric B. and Rakim. Heck, the 2 first CDs I got were the Fat Boys and the Beastie Boys, License to Ill and Crushing. And this was like 1985.
Fat Boys was one of my first too. Salt and Pepper also.
Yes.
Yes.
So it like right at this wave where this new art form, I can only, like everything in history's already happened. I can only imagine this is what parents thought about when like Elvis came out.
Sure.
And like rock music came out. To be like, you can't act like this, you can't dance like this, you can't dress like this. And then the wave of the 60s and like whatever.
Sure.
Like
History
I went
repeats
through
itself.
my
Yeah.
patch. And because I was the one kid in an area who really connected with this as a rebellious way to say fuck you to my parents, I embraced everything. Like the rayon polka dot MC Hammer pants, the high top fade. So like I was the only person who looked like that. And compounding interest, my brother Steve was a nerd, and he was in high school, and like it's a small town, so like the junior high is here, the high school is here, they line the buses up. My bus happened to be here, so I have to walk through all the high school kids. They just got done making fun of my brother. Boy, am I an easy target. There's the kid in turquoise polka dots with the high top fade. Fuck off, kid. So it was just kids
But
being
you had
kids.
to know you were going to stir people up being so different.
I don't know, because like, again, I grew up in a farming town. My next door neighbors were acres away.
Right?
So, like, it was just the five of us, and we were all so eccentric and different. I didn't really understand. I didn't. And I just thought, like, yeah, just be what you want. It's cool.
Right?
And it wasn't until like 12, 13 where it was like, oh, I kind of need to fall in line. Because we didn't beat each other up at like 8, 9, and 10 when I was in Little League with my friends and started participating in more of like, I guess, community activities. But it's kind of just the five of us until like 9 or 10.
And so you got bullied.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you handle that?
So I was like, man, I don't want to learn how to fight, but if I make myself stronger, maybe they'll leave me alone. Because diplomacy sure ain't working.
Did you get beat up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing to be like Karate Kid. Mom, I hate this stupid bike. I just want to go home.
Right, yeah.
I
You weren't
just-
left laying.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Could always get up.
Yeah. Also an important lesson.
Yeah, sure. I mean, man, every moment could you can make something out of every moment.
You can.
And then my grandfather finally convinced my dad to get me a weight set for my 12th Christmas gift. And it was an awesome one. It was a Weider weight bench with like all the attachments. So it had like the leg extension, leg curl, the lat pull down, the chest flies, the dips.
The
on the
universal.
back. It wasn't a plate loaded thing. So
Okay.
it wasn't a plate loaded machine. You had to actually move the weights. But I got a barbell, weights, and this cool weight bench with a big poster on how to use it. And my parents gave me like my own corner of the house. It was very small, but it was like a nice little space where I could go and be me. I could play my rap music and no one would mess around with me. So I created an environment where
You
I
were
liked
happy.
to do it.
Yeah.
So I would get home from school and like put 2 hours in the gym and then go, hang out with my bros. And like that became a part of the routine.
And how much of an influence did your grandfather have?
I think he was just the person getting the equipment in the door.
Really? That's it?
And then after that, like after junior high, when you get into high school, like there was no youth football in West Newbury, Massachusetts. So the first time you play football, I was 15 years old. Well, when we got to high school and I was a freshman, I'd already been lifting weights for like 2.5 years. I was noticeably stronger than my peers. So the coaches were like, you, over here, hit that guy. And I wasn't any good, but I was just strong.
Right?
And that helped me gain a little bit of fluency in football, which, oh man, you can help our team win. You're all right. You're pretty cool. You
became a part.
Yes.
Part of the team.
Yes. And that helped me get connections with like-minded people of like, oh, let's go work out. I know this gym in Amesbury called Hard Knocks. I think you'd really love it. And then at 15, walking through a basement gym underneath a bowling alley in Amesbury, Massachusetts. It was like,
Do you
man,
remember the person who took you there?
not the first time. I know it was a key gym where you had to pay, you'd pay for the month. It was like $12 a month. And then like for an extra $5, they give you a key.
So you could go anytime.
Yes. So there was one of us who had a key and they would let the rest of us in. We would just go late. And we
Sure.
would all just work out and you would have to leave a guest fee and like leave it in, but we never did. And then I started leaving the guest fee and then I met the guy who owns the place. And then I was like, man, this place is the coolest. Because I started training there when like it was packed instead of when it was empty and I didn't want to be caught. And that's when it was like, oh, this is going to be my hangout for a while. And I was surrounded by older folks, people of all ages, people of all abilities, but like people who went at it and wanted to get better. And that was a cool environment. I think a reoccurring pattern for me ever since, like as a 15-year-old, you're a little bit stronger. Play with the 18-year-olds. I was never, even here, I'm never the smartest guy in the room. In my own place, I'm not at the top,
Right?
but
Close.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you're not the smartest guy in the room, the smartest person in the room. And I think that's also a cool vehicle for growth, knowing that there is a place to go, not encouraging complacency. Like, oh, I've done all there is to do. I can't do anything else here. I was always surrounded by people who were bigger, faster, stronger, wiser, people I could learn from.
Taker said something interesting recently about never being complacent.
It's tough.
It is tough, but if you have a growth mindset, that I think that makes a big difference. But so here you are training. You're 15. You're getting stronger. You're playing up, so to speak, which you love because it's a huge challenge, I would imagine.
So it's weird. Like at 15, I wasn't like, oh, this is a huge challenge.
Right, you don't
I was like,
get it
man, I
then.
get to hang out with my friends, and we just
Cool,
met this
older
older
kids.
friend who's got
Yeah.
their license. This is great. Like it was more like that.
And it wasn't like he
Looking
could buy
back
the
on
beer
it, you can no,
because you didn't drink.
not at all.
Right.
But it was just, I went from family social connection to like, wow, I'm building connections with people I care about and learning about myself, learning about what I like, what I don't, by trying and failing. But
How important is community? Because that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know.
Whatever community you create.
I believe that that's right up there in importance, because no one does it alone. You spoke of your coach, like this is something I did by myself, and then you checked yourself immediately. You're like, not by myself. No one does anything alone. We do get, we absorb the energy of folks around us, right? So I've been in a lot of locker rooms, and I've been on a lot of teams, and when you're on a losing team, it is tough to rally the troops because you're on a losing team. When you're on a winning team, it's tough to piss in the cornflakes because everything's awesome. A lot of wrestling locker rooms where if we are going through a bad patch, or if there's a few bad attitudes in the room, people will they'll gravitate towards that. Misery loves company. But if the overwhelming sentiment is positive and curious and uplifting, you'll see a group of guys in certain outfits that are just like unbeatable, like everything is good. So in that sense, I think community is the most important, because let's say I do wake up and be like, man, I'm going to earn the day. And the first person I run into is like, the second person, hey man, how's life? It's taking forever. Like
Yeah.
eventually that wears you down. So for me, I consider, like, I call my family like my guys. Rob is one, Nikki's one, Dan's one, my wife Shay, John Martin. Like I got like my 6 closest connections, because they are people that are relentless in their curiosity, in their growth. They're great listeners. The time we spend together is like this, where it's like, man, did we just kind of solve the problems that I was trying to figure out? Yeah, okay, well, what's next? We look forward to the time we spend with each other, even though it's not all the time. And I can't say that about people with the last name Cena, which is crazy, because when I was a young person, it was just me and my brothers. But a lot of the perspective that I have on life, my brothers don't have that perspective, and they're entitled to that. But it's something I can't be around for a lot, because I find myself slipping into that. And I can only spend so much time around that energy. And it's like, man, when the glass becomes half empty, when it gets right to that 50-yard line and it starts to become half empty, that's when I need to be surrounded by my family. you know, and
By the 6.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, or people with that curious nature. It's always good to talk to you. You are never bad, even when you're bad. Like, I'm just learning that, like, man, I was going through some shit. I never once knew, because you're always good. You give off an energy that's like uplifting. You want to share happiness and joy. So if you're going through some shit in your life, I don't know.
Yeah, I come from a place of love. At least I tried to.
Yes, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're in an environment that doesn't,
It's
the
easy to get
math isn't
sucked
in your
into.
favor.
And why is that human nature, misery loves company, negativity on social media, fear? Why are those the things that drive humanity?
First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm not qualified with a paper on my wall to give a response to that question. It's just my perspective.
Given your experience,
Just my perspective.
Yes, your opinion.
Let's instead of listening, let's talk about that. Why do you think misery loves company?
Oh, you're turning it on me.
No, I'll give an answer.
I don't know
We'll
what
share.
it is. Honestly, I don't know what it is about human nature, and it's a question that I think about a lot. And you're not the first person I've asked that question to, but I don't know.
What's your perspective?
Well, Dr. King has a quote that he chooses love because hate is far too great a burden to bear.
Okay.
And I think that's true. I think it takes a lot of energy to be negative.
Okay.
And maybe it's because it's such a powerful energy, even though it's a negative one, it's what people are more drawn to. I don't know. Or is love scarier because you have to be vulnerable in love? You have to be yourself and not be afraid of what people are going to think. You have to not be afraid to be the kid walking around West Newbury and
Turquoise polka dots.
turquoise polka dots. And were the polka dots black? Oh yeah, okay. I'm trying to envision the whole look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rayon too.
Yes.
All
yes.
rayons.
Also with the
Hammer pants. Low. You can't
Yeah.
touch this.
Oh, like you also were super low,
Oh,
like
I would.
butt hanging out.
So when I would wear the overalls, of course, you strap them all the way
Yes,
down, so you
yes.
get to see the boxers that you
full,
bought at
yeah.
Marshalls. Everybody can see those.
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Marshalls.
Marshalls. Yeah,
Yeah, when you get tired, you get your accent.
I do.
Yeah.
Tired or possibly one too many pints.
Yeah. Let your guard down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that about you. But so why do you think?
I think there's a lot there, but I would volley maybe that negativity is easy
But why?
because we don't, like you had mentioned something that I thought was really profound. Love is uncomfortable because you have to be vulnerable. It's an exercise in trust. The negativity I've noticed, nobody goes out there and says, I'm a fucking asshole. It's always like, she's a fucking asshole.
Right.
Because that's easy to say because I don't have to look at myself. From the experiences I've had, especially personally, love starts here.
Yes, I agree with
When
that.
you can look in the mirror and be like, man, flawed. Love you though. Like, you're enough. I think that's a good step forward in being able to welcome love in your life, which is very trusting. You're literally, love is like handing the suitcase of weapons for you to be destroyed to someone and be like, please don't use that.
Here's a fully loaded gun.
And that's why it feels so good, because they don't use it. And in those moments when they can, you can kind of almost know that they're not going to, and that's why it feels warm and gooey and fuzzy.
Sometimes they do use them.
I would say you're not wrong, but in a true loving relationship, if they get used, I think each other holding that each other accountable for using those, and understanding that, like, hey, you may be putting this thing in jeopardy. I don't know how many people lean into those moments.
Or somebody isn't who you thought they were. You thought they were, because I think one of the things that people do.
This is good because now we're going everywhere. I love this.
is that they put their values on other people.
100%.
You know, so you assume other people feel the exact same way you do about whatever it is, and that's not necessarily the case. In fact, I think most of the times it's
Never
not.
the case.
So
And
their behavior is surprising to you, but it shouldn't be.
it shouldn't be. And a lot of times we want people to be something in our eyes. Again, I've just kind of learned this in the past few years. One of the people I love very much, John Martin, I'll bring his name up often, meet somebody where they're at. Appreciate just how you have to meet yourself where you're at to be like, I love you. Let's try to tweak these things a little bit. Let's see if we can grow here. You're disappointed in the gym. What's up with you? What's going on? You're usually not that guy. Do you want to cut bait and like not work out anymore? Do you want to find another discipline? Do you want to try running? Like, do you want to try reading? Who knows? No, I'd like to still try the gym. Okay, dig a little bit more, find the one nugget that's making this a bad experience. Sometimes it takes the involvement of a friend to be like, hey, you're being an asshole. What's going on? But eventually you got to look at self. And with others, if I want you to be my best friend and I think you're my best friend and I say like, oh, but you're always good, which is a perspective I have of you in my head. And you are going through a rough time and you're not good. I might get upset that you're not your usual self. Meanwhile, you're bearing the burden of just living life. So it may get nuclear. And I think when there's love involved, when it starts to get nuclear, there's a stop down. And then I'm saying, hey, the story I'm telling myself is you're disappointed with me and you might be going through some stuff. Is there anything you want to talk about? Instead of just
Assuming the worst.
or just opening up that suitcase and using every weapon. And that's
To fire back.
that's the difference, I think. I use the word love pretty scarcely because it has to involve that trust. To know that, if things get gamey between us, if we got into a bit of a talk right now, this whole room would erase. And I don't mean I'd kick everybody out. I would lean into you with the disagreement and we would settle shit before we left. And a resolve may not be both of us flying high, but it certainly wouldn't be like both of us, I'm never talking to you again. Because I care about you too much. I just wouldn't let that happen. Or it would be a moment where you tell me like, never cared about you, everything's fake, and then you'd be a person I don't want in my life.
Right.
And that would be that. And it's also okay to like, I loved this person for this section of my life, and I still have love for them, but they're not in that core. But I love my dad. My dad's crazy. He is, and that's coming from a motherfucker
How is
who's
your dad?
crazy. He's fabulous.
Yeah, still.
My dad's 80. He's still doing independent wrestling shows. He's still paying people off with fabulous money. He did it.
Bucks?
He did an interview on local television about my last match. Like local news is like, we caught up with John Cena's dad. My dad didn't call me his son once. He called me John Cena.
He lives in the gimmick, right?
He does.
Yeah.
But so this is what a great real-time example of what I'm trying to say. I want my dad to be my dad. That's not fair to my father. It's not. My dad is 80. He raised 5 of us. None of us have health problems. We all have our own lives. We're all secure. As a parent, I can say to my dad, like, as a parent, you did a great job. Regardless of the things I need to pick that I have to unwire for myself, if I was raised in an environment where now I don't like the behaviors, I can work on me and correct that. What I know is he had 5, we're all healthy. We're all stable, we're all good. Good job, boss. I can't expect him to be anything more than he is. My dad is a wrestling fan, like a junkie. Always has been. So how could I not know this? He introduced me to wrestling.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's the only time we could beat each other up and get away with it was when we made a paper belt and be like, I'm the champ though, Dad. Be like, okay. Great. So me 10 years ago would have saw that interview and be like, this dude just ruined my WrestleMania. Me now, I'm like, go get him, Fab.
Yeah, that's my dad.
That's who he is. And I have so much of a better relationship with my dad. It is in bursts, and I know what I'm getting into because I meet him where he's at. Instead of me like, hey, why can't you just be a dad to me? Like, he's trying. That's
Right.
his way of doing it. And if I want him to be who I want him to be, then he's not himself. And if he is a person, who he is not someone I can be associated with, and I need some distance, and I've had these conversations with him. Like, Dad, love you. We got to cool it down. You text me when you're ready, or you call me when you're ready, and maybe we can set something up, but here are the rules. Neutral ground, public place. Because we got to start casual. And then if I know you're ready to lean in, we can lean in a little bit. Man, these past couple years of my dad have been awesome. And I'm so, like, this is stuff that I don't talk about. If I'd spoke at my dad's eulogy 10 years ago, my eulogy would have been like, he was just a guy. Thanks for coming. And I would have listed every other male important mentor in my life that guided me through life and was there when I needed them as a father figure, because I might have been searching for that. When I get the luxury of speaking at my dad's eulogy now, people will know how excellent a human being he is. And he hasn't changed one bit. And he's not gonna change. Because he's 80 and he's stuck and he's stubborn. And just because I'm on a path of growth, I can't bring him with me if he doesn't want to make the leap. But I appreciate who he is. I love him for who he is. And that couldn't be a better example of, like, I do have love for him, but I got a real different relationship with my mom than I do with my dad. And me and moms can lean into stuff. And I know a whole lot more about her story. And I know, like, what's the worst thing I ever did to her? What's the thing she's the most proud of? Like, real deep shit. She spent a ton of time with my bride. So now Shay is the daughter that my mom never had. And all that is just listening and trust and vulnerability and true love. This is a safe space to discuss whatever you want.
And to know who you can do that with.
And, like, my mom ain't perfect. She's got her flaws too. Holy shit, I got a long list of them. But I think it's like, I'm sitting with you. This is who you are as a person. I don't need you to be any more than that. I just need you to be okay with me being me, and let's try to move onward together. And going back to negativity, to me, negativity is easy because you don't have to reflect on self. It's so much easier to say it's your fault. Because now I don't have to do anything. All I got to do is get one person to agree. And chances are, because there's probably somebody who doesn't want to take that bold look at themselves because it's tough and you're not going to find that everything's great, someone else is going to be like, yeah, it's their fault. Like, this is another thing I love about sports entertainment. You know if you sucked right away. Right away. And there are many nights I have sucked.
They tell you all the time, Cena says.
That's
I'm
noise.
teasing,
No,
I'm
but so what, we can lean into that. That's noise. That's interest. And you've been around it enough to know apathetic silence.
No, silence is the worst.
Silence, not bad. There's a curious silence.
Okay.
The
Curious
audience,
silence.
the audiences in Japan are very
Okay,
well
that's
behaved.
culturally different.
To me, that noise of curious silence. All right, this is different, but they're here. All right, great.
Crickets, though.
Apathetic.
Yeah.
Walking up the concourse to get a hot dog silence is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it takes a very humble person to come back and be like, I missed. You, come here, sit down. Why? That wasn't good. I can't tell you how many times I've always been blessed with not being the smartest guy in the room. When you guys brought me in and gave me another chance as the hip hop guy, I got paired with such good veterans like Eddie, Rikishi, Booker T, JBL, who would be like, get over here. Why the fuck did you do this out there? And they would say the moments we missed. And then they would say the why. It was not a conversation. It was a remake.
A lesson.
Yes. I can't tell you how many performers come back and think they did good. because they did all of their things correctly. And they're not willing to take the look at themselves and be like, the audience didn't get that at all. Well, I'm new. I don't
It's
care.
them.
It's
It's not me. It's them.
They
They
didn't-
didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
Yeah.
Which in itself that should be the look in the mirror. They didn't get it. What did I do wrong? I did nothing wrong. They just don't get me. That's not going to work. That's not a long-term model for success here. So it's that there couldn't be a better example of it being easy. Negativity on social media, first of all, you can hide in anonymity. And second of all, man, you can get people to pile on with you. And you don't have to look at self. You know, like I choose to take another path on social media.
Yes, you do.
I
You
try
have
not,
a very different
I try not to
path
get
on social.
involved in those sorts of conversations. I put thoughts out in the world to keep myself accountable, period. And again, none of this means anything. So if people view it, cool. If not, it's okay. But I'm trying to put that shit out into the universe. So now I have to walk the talk because that shit's also tough.
There's a lot of Stoic philosophy that talks about how you really.
You into the Stoics?
Yeah, I am.
Right on, okay.
Yeah, because you can only control yourself. You really can't control your circumstances. You can't control what's going to happen, but you can control your reaction. You can control what you take from the situation.
Yeah.
You can control how you learn from it. You can't control your dad's behavior or who he is, and you've gotten to a place where you don't want to. You accept him for who he is, and I dare say love him for who he
Sure
is.
do.
And getting to that place where you're able to make that separation for yourself is incredible. And not many people, I don't think, get to a place where they can look back on 10 years and say how profoundly they have grown and looked at situations differently, and recognizing who you were 10 years ago and how you looked at things, and now 10 years later, how you're looking at things. So to bring it back to WWE
Sure.
for a moment, how have you changed in your perspective, even of John Cena in the business, from when you first started to now here you are at the end of your wrestling career, your farewell tour? What are your biggest lessons along that journey?
That's a great question. Man, I want to flip that on you because I know you have so many lessons that you would share. Maybe we can go back and forth. I think the biggest overreaching lessons, and again, you're not talking to me. Any memory I bring up from like 2002, 2004 is me just remembering that moment. It's not me in 2002.
It's your perspective now.
It's my perspective
Yes.
now.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious.
That it is an absolute fictitious dream job that I'm so lucky that it exists. It is something that I never knew how much I needed in my life, and still to this day is something that I can't live without. Also, it ends for everyone, and no one. This is where it's okay to have people in social circles or close connections, and we don't need to agree and see eye to eye on everything. No one is immortal. No moment is immortal. No one remembers you forever. None of it matters. The best thing you can do is if you really love something and something is important to you, when you get a chance to do it, do the best you can and be as coachable as you can.
Especially if you hold yourself to a high standard, so to speak. If you're not hitting your marks, if you're not achieving the things you want to achieve, it's so easy to go into like a self-loathing almost. You suck, you're no good, you can't do this, you can't do
I
that.
think a lot of people go into that without self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you don't have it at all.
I also, the term self-love is a tough one for people to sometimes even hear, because they sometimes confuse it with like pure positivity. And the two are very different.
Or ego. Where I sometimes struggled with it was like, who are you to, you know, who are you to love yourself, right? Like, what is that?
I know. There's just I haven't figured out a different term for it, because the connections that come afterwards, like once you establish that love of self, you know what love feels like. And for me, I hit a point where I could look at myself and say, no matter what, dude, you are enough. And that was like right before I met my bride. And then it was like, I kind of knew what I wanted out of love. I had a clean set of guidelines for what that means and what that's supposed to be. And passing that on to another person and becoming more than just yourself, that's cool. And then beginning to lean into your friends with that sort of mindset. And there's a lot of friends that I had 15 years ago that I don't so much have anymore. There's a lot of friends that I had 10 years ago that I don't so much have anymore. And it's not that I don't like these people. It's just that over the course of interactions, I'm like, oh, okay, we can only get this far, which means that we can only get this far. I'm not blacklisting you. It's not. We'll talk every now and again, but I thought you were a close connection, and you were in this time period, and that's okay. Like that's all okay, you know. But I think it's. I wish I could find a different word than self-love, because it does come
I
off a
wanna
little
dig into
wonky.
it though, because for a lot of people, they don't have love in their life. Their parents, maybe they don't even have parents. Or they're alone, being raised however they're being raised, just struggling, and they've never really had someone to believe in them. What I think one of the things you're saying that's so important is that you really don't need anybody else. You have to believe in yourself,
So I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth. Again, no one does it alone.
right?
And I think the more layers you can put together, the more the math is in your favor. I needed a lot of people in my life to help nudge me to find self-love. But ultimately, I had to do it. Just like I need a lot of people to make sure I can move around. But ultimately, when you put the plates on the bar, I'm going to be
You're
the
the
one
one who's
lifting
gotta
the
push
weight.
the weight,
But I don't do that alone. There's a lot of folks who help me do that. My bride, my gym buddy, let's go when you're tired. Yeah, let's go. Rob, my best friend, hey man, you're a little off kilter here. Let's make sure your nervous system is awake before you squat. Or hey, this is the protocol you should do. And then just actually doing the thing. The people who create a positive environment for you to pursue jujitsu without judgment, so you don't feel bad about it. Even something as simple as that. Allow you to do the thing you love, but you're in there getting stretched. You're doing the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to stress the importance of love outside of self, but I think you have to know what it feels like first. You have to be okay with the person looking you in the mirror. And it does, like, whatever virtues you have in life are okay. That's another thing I want to say. Like, your philanthropy is obviously a big virtue for you, and acts of service is a big virtue for you. Like, I want to give back. This is what I want to do. You can be all about money. I want to make money.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And every day, if you look at yourself and be like, I'm making my money in a way that I feel good within my values, I feel okay, and I can look at the person in the mirror and be like, go get him today, boss. You're doing it. Whatever you want to do, as long as it's not against the I guess, agreed morality that we've come to know as law. And
Well, as long as you're not hurting anyone, right?
again, that agreed morality. And if you are living within the values you set for yourself. And that's like the walk the talk sort of shit. That like it's tough. It's tough. And I ain't perfect.
Sure. And your value set may be different than somebody else's.
And it can change. It can change. there were times in, man, I remember in like 2008, sat down at dinner with my ex-wife. Phone call. We need you here, boss. There's a plane waiting for you. See ya. Because my why was, I'm going to ride this lightning bolt until it super kicks me off. And no one is going to get in that way. I didn't lean into a conversation with the person I should have about like, hey, can we talk about this? Or do you have to leave now? Well, this is really important to me. Is there anything we can do to find balance? Or do you want to come with me? Or nope, see you later. That's not good at all. If I want love and connection in my life, that's
Right.
horrible. And
But it maybe wasn't what you wanted at that time.
I was living the life I wanted to live at the time, thinking I could do everything. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. My husband and my kids are my why. Okay, then a little time is going to come off of this, and a little time is going to come off of this. If this is the most important thing in your life, if this is the tip of your spear, it's gonna be all of your decisions are based off of that. And for a good 15 to 16 years, the tip of my spear was making the town. And I don't regret any of that. I feel good that I can reflect on a mini moment like that when I literally threw some cash at my ex-wife and caught a plane to the next event. I don't regret anything. I wasn't forced to do that. I did it under my own duress, like it was my choice. I've learned from it, I've grown from it, and it's
And you don't beat yourself up about
not
it.
at all.
Right.
It was a great moment and reminds me of like, okay, first of all, you can have a lead dog on the sled. You can have a tip of the spear. Just make sure that's what you want. And all of those decisions will be based around that. And that's why 10 years ago, if you asked me, I would say I'd been put on this earth to be a WWE superstar. And now at 48, I know I'm not. Like, I am here to live life. I am here to acknowledge the greatest gift that I have been awarded. Of all the privilege and gift I have been awarded in my life, the greatest gift is waking up. And that is the tip of my spear. And right below that is my bride. So, hey, am I running right? Great. Are we running right? Great. I'll figure everything else out. So when we go back to talking about risk, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, risk is, am I running okay? Are we running okay? I'll figure the rest out. Let's try. But if it's like, is this going to make me not run okay? Is this going to jeopardize us? I don't like the risk. So I don't just take every risk.
You think about it differently.
Of course. But like, what's the worst that can happen? And if
Calculated
the
risk.
overwhelming answer is, it is not going to make you feel good because,
Whatever reason.
or it's going to ruin the most valuable thing you have in your life. Punt.
Seems easy, right? But it's not.
It also involves putting yourself out there. And that's not just like entertainment with a camera, like whatever risk you take. I want to ask for promotion at work. I want a different job. I want to move. You got to put yourself out there.
You have to live.
Kind of.
That's how I look at it. I mean, your life is here to live. You're
Yeah.
not here to.
So that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And a byproduct of enjoying and embracing the lightning bolt is a lot of time on the canvas, which has been super awesome. But it's also like time for that to be over. Or I run the risk of what we talked about. Are we running right? If you want to be full-time in this, it's a difficult juggling act. Just from the way I invest in this. That's not anyone else's perspective but me. But from the way I push my chips into this, it is tough to carry people along with you. It is like they need to ride the wake. They can't run next to you. And that's just me. And am I running right? A schedule like I was doing in 2013 would destroy me right now. So this is a risk of like, why are you choosing to hang it up? You're in shape, life is good, you look good, you can still jump high and move fast. it will ruin me and ruin my relationship. And that's the tip of my spear. So I got to close a chapter. That's it.
When you're doing it in grand fashion.
Trying.
You are.
Trying to do
You
something that's
are.
never been done before.
And I love it. And before I geek out about
Oh,
everything
we're not.
you're doing,
I'm not going to spoil the TV show. We're not going to talk about any of that.
can I just say I love you as a heel? And I tried to get you to be a heel for a very long time. But man, I love it. I love it. I love
Can
it.
I just say I had some really good people to learn from, and you are in a very short list of names that falls into. I steal. This is all I'll do to spoil that. I flat out steal a lot from you.
Wow. Well, that's
So thanks for helping me through this
yeah.
wonderful ride. That's all the spoilers I'm going
Any
to give.
more asshole tips you need? I'm happy to provide them.